Welcome back again to another Red and Blue. Today we've got something called the Blue View. This is going to be the Ant's opinion on a few things about the season, how the season's gone so far for City, what he thinks is right to do now with the season being cancelled, whether it should be voided, anything like that, and just a couple of questions really. So here we go. I'll start with the first question.
Okay.
How do you think your season has gone so far?
So far, our season has been a little, I guess you could say, a little bit disappointed. Feel a bit spoilt saying that as a City fan, given the last few seasons we've had.
Yeah.
I suppose it's been a little bit disappointing if you compare it to those other ones because we've set such high standards for ourselves. In the Premier League, it's been disappointing. Obviously, we've already got one trophy in the bag, the League Cup, which is good. I know people say we hardly played anyone, but it's good that we've got that in the bag. The FA Cup run's obviously still there, that's still going pretty strong. The Champions League, obviously, we've just beat Real Madrid. It feels like an age ago at the Bernabeu, and we've got a good healthy lead going into that sort of second leg. It feels like our best chance at the Champions League this year. I feel like in the Champions League we've performed like where we have in recent seasons, whereas in the Prem we've sort of dropped off a little bit ever since we lost to Liverpool. So I think it's a bit of a mixed bag so far this season. To summarise, it's been a really good season, in some competitions, but mainly in the Prem we've struggled. I think with the mentality. And just with keeping up and maybe just burning ourselves out a little bit from the last two seasons.
Do you think that Kompany's a big miss?
Yeah, I feel like we miss that leader in the dressing room. We don't have anyone who's sort of... I know Silva's the captain now, but... no offense to Silva, I love him. He's just not a captain. He's not vocal enough for me to be a
sometimes
captain.
When I've watched you guys this season... Sorry to interrupt a bit there, mate. Sorry about that. When I've watched you guys this season, you've looked like you've been without a captain, basically, through most of the season. You look, especially in your back four, you look a bit like headless chickens, just running around.
Yeah, and I feel like... I don't think that's just down to the captain, to be honest, at the back. I think that's part of the reason for that is missing Laporte as well. He's a pretty big player for us, if I'm being honest. Credit to Fernandinho, he stepped in, which leads me on to the captain thing. I feel like Fernandinho, De Bruyne, Aguero, one of those sort of people should be the captain. Like I say, I have absolutely nothing against David Silva at all. I love the guy, he's a phenomenal player. He has been for many years. He's one of the Premier League greats, do you know what I mean? But for captaincy, I don't feel like he's the answer. I don't feel like he's loud enough. I don't feel like he's got Kompany's sort of presence. Like when Kompany walks into a dressing room, everyone listened. When Kompany speaks, everyone listens. Do you know what I mean? Everyone sits down and everyone pays attention and looks up too. And he was just vocal. You could always hear him. Like if you go to the games, you could always hear him on the pitch shouting commands to people. Young players would go to him for advice and stuff. And because he'd been in that captaincy role for so long, also. He just fit the bill, and he's a great guy, he's a great player, he's a great captain, and he was basically Mr. Manchester City for so long. So when he went, it was like, it was always going to be a big loss, and I guess we've got to that point now, I think, where United used to be, where we've started to lose some of our, big
First
game
lot.
players and sort of legends almost, and it's not nice.
No.
I wish we still obviously had Kompany. I was actually joking when Laporte got injured, saying bring him back. But we definitely miss him as a leader. But I think more so we miss him as a player. Because his mentality is second to none, really. And there's no one else in our team that can match it. But I do feel like there's a few players in there, other than David Silva, that could possibly take the captaincy wing in a little bit better shape than Silva has. And like I say, I keep saying it, but there's no sort of hate on Silva there at all. I just don't feel like captaincy is something that he's asked for or that he's going to strive in.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on a little bit. What's your high point then of this season?
The high point of the season. I'd say personally the the one that happened before we all decided to stay inside, the Real Madrid game.
Watford. Watford beating Liverpool.
Do you know what? That's how bad it's been in the Prem.
No.
I mean we've not been that bad. I feel like we've sold a few players. Pep's been experimenting a little bit. We're a little bit burnt out. So in the Prem, I guess it'd be unfair to sort of judge a performance.
Real Madrid was a good performance for you guys.
The Real Madrid game away was unreal. I mean, I wasn't saying that when Isco scored. We absolutely bossed the game for 60 odd minutes, and Isco scored, and I thought it's the Bernabeu curse.
I remember you texting me actually, or messaging me, and you was panicking, and I was like, "Calm down, you're gonna win."
Yeah.
I've watched the game.
Well, this is it, and it was like we were so much better than them. Like it was crazy to watch as a City fan how much better we were than them. It was like it's just like something you'd never think you never thought that you would see as a City fan. Obviously, we've talked in previous videos about faded past players and this, that, and the other about City. We've not got any legends and all in the combined 11, this, that, and the other. But to see us sort of creating that status for ourselves now and getting there it's mad. Honestly, it really is. It's like something out of a fairy tale. But on a high point perspective in the Champions League, anyway, it'd definitely be the Real Madrid game.
Yeah.
In the league, I think in the big games we've struggled to sort of show dominance to make me think that was our best performance. And the games we have shown dominance in have been sort of not insignificant games, but against the smaller teams, which is
like
great.
Watford and stuff.
Exactly, yeah, that's great. I mean, that Watford game was mad. I know you should keep referencing it. I mean, I did say one day this team's going to put double figures past someone. I can just see it. And obviously we came close, but I guess that in the Prem that would be possibly the best game we've played and the highest point for the Prem.
I might enjoy this next question a bit more than you. What's your low point? I got a feeling I might know.
There's a few actually. Obviously, like I've mentioned, with this season being so dog poo, trying to keep it polite. There's been a few low points. I mean, the first one, obviously, I'll get it out of the way because I know you're dying for me to talk about it. Has got to be that Old Trafford game. That was tough. We were. To be honest, and it's the same with all the disappointing games this season. We just created problems for ourselves.
You did.
Lack of it's not even the creativity's there. It's just the lack of that finish in the final third, and we just didn't seem to have it. I can't remember, did Jesus play? I've sort of
you had Aguero in the second one. Jesus played in the first one.
That's it.
I remember you telling me
Mahrez didn't play.
You'd have won if Aguero played. Yeah, I remember you telling me. Aguero played, and I was like. Yeah,
well, Mahrez didn't play as well, which I mean, in the League Cup, that game against you, when we were 3-0 up at half-time, Mahrez was our best player by a mile. I mean, we had Mahrez on the right, we had Bernardo and De Bruyne in the middle, and it was just like, and Sterling on the left, who still can, when he comes to play you guys, just can't seem to hack it for some reason.
Mental block, I think.
Like when we played that team in the League Cup, we pulled you apart, really, and you've got to agree with that. We absolutely ripped you apart. And even now, it was nice to watch. It was like, God, what is going on here? But yeah, we just struggled. I think to be honest, I don't think it helps with all this sort of financial fair play stuff that's going on at the minute as well behind the club, and the fact they might not be in Europe next season. I feel like that plays a part with the players, and they think, what are we playing for? And also Liverpool are so far ahead that they're sort of like, what's the point? We're playing for second.
No competition.
And do you know what? Yeah, I sort of get that mentality, but for footballers that are getting paid, those sort of wages, and to say that, just last season they'd combined 198 points over 2 seasons, I feel like they shouldn't have that attitude, and they should be trying a little bit harder. I mean, Ben Mendy's a good one in particular. I mean, we possibly do another video on going through individual players and stuff, but I feel like he's been a real disappointment. I mean, he's just not really ever kicked on. I know he's had injuries, and he's possibly been a bit unlucky with that, but he's never really just kicked on and sort of got on with it. He's never really had like a real good run of games. In a way, I do feel sorry for him because of the injuries, but also you're at a big club now.
He's a bit mental, isn't he?
You're at a big club now as well, and I don't even mind that aspect of him either, because I mean, Balotelli was pretty mental, but he's like Balotelli in a way, but he knows when to be serious. But I just don't know if he's got the ability to play at our level, if I'm being honest. And we've tried a few other signings, Angelino, and we've put Zinchenko there a few times. But Zinchenko gets caught out a lot in that position. It's not his natural position. Creatively going forward, it's brilliant having him there, and defensively towards the back end of last season, it was brilliant. But defensively, he does get caught out a lot, and he's played a few times this season, and he's really been caught out. I think he played in that derby against you guys.
Yeah, I think he
and
did at the Etihad,
he
and
really
he
got
struggled.
caught out. Yeah, and it was a bit embarrassing. I mean, and another low point. I'll quickly touch on it. Conscious of time, is the Liverpool game. Obviously, I
Yeah,
expected so much more of that game. Again, another one that was a bit
yeah,
controversial. I remember going purple almost with rage at some of the decisions with the, the handball with Alexander Arnold on another day. That's given. Another ref gives that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And then they go up the other end and score. And it's like, what does that do to your mentality? What does that bit there do to it?
Don't think it
Um,
helped you had to start Bravo in that game.
well, that's another thing as well. But again, that was of our own doing. You know.
Yeah, the T-Rex, as I like to call him.
Yeah. So
Small arms for a keeper.
do you know what? I actually have quite a bit of time for Bravo now. I mean, he started and I was a bit unsure because he obviously replaced Joe Hart, which didn't go down with any City fan, to be honest. But yeah, he's sort of growing me a little bit now as a cup keeper anyway. I don't think he'll be around for much longer. He's possibly just waiting for his retirement.
Yeah, probably. I would like to move on to standout player, and I've got a suggestion you might not agree with, but I'd say Laporte because, as you were saying, it's so clear how much you've missed him. But I guess from a City perspective, your standout player has to be someone that plays.
Yeah,
So
I mean you're right about Laporte. Obviously, it was shown. He was out for most of the season. So far anyway. I say most of the season like it's finished and it's not even finished.
yeah,
He was the most important player obviously for a while. Um, and then he got injured obviously. And when he came back against Sheffield it was just shown, even in those few minutes, I think he came off in that game for a bit of a
yeah,
knock. No, actually he didn't. No, he got a knock and he carried on.
yeah.
But he was even shown in that game how important he was. We just looked so much stronger at the back. And Fernandinho was a great stand-in, and I think he did. He played against Real Madrid there, Laporte and Fernandinho, which says a lot about Stones.
Yeah,
But Laporte's a great player in his own right. He holds that back line. I feel like he's learnt from the best. He's had a leader next to him in Company. Before he left anyway, he had a good year and a half out of Company. To sort of learn the way and keep his line and keep his shape and learn the way we play. And obviously he's got a good manager, Pep. And I
yeah.
think in any other world where you don't have Kevin De Bruyne in the team, he would be the standout player. But for me, it's got to be Kevin De Bruyne. It's got to be. I mean, it is close between him and Aguero for me.
He is carrying my fantasy football team. To be fair,
Aguero is
Kevin De Bruyne.
God, I've not actually looked at that for so long. I've not looked. It's such a sad time.
No point in the minute, mate.
That's it. Yeah. No, but Aguero obviously is breaking records left, right, and centre as always. It's what he does best at the minute. But De Bruyne, he's just, you know what you're getting with him week in, week out. You never hear, oh, he's had an off game this week.
Yeah,
The
it's always
guy's
a good
just
game.
unplayable. I mean, you just don't want to play against him. He's the player that you see on on Twitter. You see people going, oh, why are they starting De Bruyne? Do you know what I mean? Wish he wasn't
Unless you're
playing.
Fred.
And you just think, it's mad. I heard that. You just think like his performance at the Bernabeu. He just rocked up, cool as you like. Bagged an assist, bagged his pen, which for us is a big achievement. And yeah, he's just cool, calm, collected. He has been for a few years, to be honest. He's one of the best things Pellegrini did, I think. Best signings, anyway.
I think it was for Pep, really, mate.
Do you reckon?
Preparing for Pep then.
Did it for him, but
Yeah,
he obviously is a Pep player. He fits right in. The absolute assist king.
I agree.
I reckon he's going to go down if he carries on anyway. Obviously, if he flops after this, which I don't think he will. I think he'd go down as one of the greatest.
Well, yeah, I think so probably as well, as much as it pains me to say it. What would you think would be the right thing to do from here with this season with COVID-19? Well, we haven't really addressed it in the first couple of videos, probably.
We're trying to stay away from it. We're trying to keep it cheery and keep it away from the doom and gloom. But obviously this is a football channel and it's affecting football at the minute. So, yeah. I don't know if a lot of people are going to agree. I've seen a lot of sort of people talking about this online and stuff, and different people have very different opinions, but they all seem to sort of head down one channel or another. There's two main ones, and obviously that's continue or null. For me, health comes before sport,
Yeah,
and that's without
100%.
any bias at all. Health comes before sport. For me, null and void seems like the best way to do it. Start again. I feel like if you're postpone it whilst this sort of thing continues and disappears, you're just going to disrupt the season after. You're going to disrupt a transfer window. You're going to disrupt possibly the European Championships next summer. Then you're going to possibly have a knock-on effect to all other things. The clubs in the Premier understand it from a financial standpoint that null and void doesn't really help anyone. At least teams don't go down and lose money. At least teams don't win the league when they have it mathematically. People don't get the Champions League when they shouldn't. There's a bit of a grey area around us in the Champions League, I guess. Yeah. I don't know what would happen there. But,
the teams could come up. What about them? What do we say to them? West Broms and Leeds, and I don't want Leeds back in the Prem. But
and again, from a non-biased standpoint, I think it would be sad for them to obviously work so hard. Even for Liverpool, I mean, I don't like Liverpool. Obviously, I'd rather we were up there and winning it, but I can understand how really hard it is from their perspective. 30 years, obviously, without the Prem, and then this happens. It's like I mean, if this was City, I'd be hurt. I'd be like, no, we don't want to cancel it. But sometimes it has to happen. Do you know what I mean? And health has to come above sport for me. They're gonna, if they're good enough, they'll get a chance again. They'll go again, and in a few years they possibly will win it, because I do believe they are good enough. And yeah, it is harsh, and people have had differing opinions online, but for me, health comes before sport. And in my humble and honest and try not to be an unbiased opinion, the season should be null and void. People forget also, just to add as a side point, that it would seriously affect us as well with the Champions League. Given how far we've got, this is possibly the best chance we're going to get.
Well, I mean, it's only the last 16, isn't it? Because obviously it got stopped. But I understand it is your best chance.
I mean,
that's my
we're
opinion as well.
A team with a stature of Real Madrid. This is going to project us forward. So it's going to really affect us as well. And I think people look past that and think we're just trying to stop them from winning the league. And that's not the case. I mean, that would be nice. But that's not just the case. It's just from a health standpoint. If we want to stop it, stop the spread, and we all want to go back to normal and start going back into beer gardens again, then we need to be able to call it at a stop now, restart again at a normal time when we're used to it, and we can all be fresh and good to go again.
I agree with you to a point. I'm sure we'll touch on that in another video. But obviously there's people out there that don't agree, and we don't know what's going to happen right now. If it does start again, what would you deem successful to the end of the season for City?
If the league started again?
No, if it does start again from here, say they make an agreement to start in June, the season continues on into the summer, what would you deem successful? All the competitions come back. Say, what would you deem successful? I can't see it, but it's a question.
I would deem a Champions League win as successful, or at least sort of a semi-final, final.
And the FA Cup?
The FA Cup, obviously, yeah. The Prem's obviously we're going to be second, maybe third, who knows. But I feel like we should prioritise those domestic cup competitions now. And so to me, a success would be obviously the League Cup we've already got. Going as far as we can in the FA Cup, if we can win it, then great. But I feel like now we need to prioritise that big honour that keeps eluding us and keeps escaping us of the Champions League. As much as I don't like it, and as much as I always, express my hate for it, it would be nice. It would be really nice to do it.
Pep's not won it for 9 years,
and it silenced a lot of critiques on Pep as well, where he can't win it without Messi. It'd be nice to do it, and also we can let Aguero retire. Then I don't know if you've seen that headline. Poor guy, he's going to play till he's 90.
Well, that's all the questions I've got for you now. So
brilliant. Okay. Well, thanks for watching again, as always. To our 5 fans. No, we really enjoying doing this, aren't we, Nick?
Yeah, it's good.
It's keeping us sane, like we say,
busy.
during the lockdown, and it's keeping us busy. So yeah, as we always say, like, subscribe. Let us know if we're doing stuff right, if we're doing stuff wrong. We don't know. We're new to it.
Yeah.
Let
us know anything you want us to talk about. Don't necessarily have to be football.
That's it. Anything. Like I said, nothing's sort of too out there. Nothing's too sort of. What I'm looking for, Nick. What are the words I'm looking for? Nothing's too outrageous. There you go. That'll sum it up nicely. That's it. So
PG-13 though, please. Yeah.
Has to be PG-13. They're the only rules.
Yeah.
But other than that, we will catch you in another video, I'm sure. Thanks for watching. Catch you soon.
See you in a bit.